And finally tonight, a closer look at developments in downtown Detroit. Quicken Loans founder Dan Gilbert and his various investment and real estate companies have had a major impact on the resurgence of downtown. More companies are renting space, retail is picking up, and investment is moving into more housing. Rock Ventures CEO Matt Cullen sat down with me to talk about the prospect of soccer downtown, the QLine, and the latest development projects.
What's changing now is the pace of growth, which is increasing all the time. And I mean, we have QLine now, which is almost done. And you're seeing billions of dollars of development along that corridor. You're seeing a lot of efforts into the neighborhoods with the mayor's blight removal, with Rehab and Ready, a number of other projects. The riverfront is expanding, tremendous expansion of residential. Nike store, I mean, you know, who'd have thought we'd have a Nike store downtown, right? So, I mean, really, across all of the corridors of industrial, office, residential, retail, tremendous growth and really primed for even more coming up.
You know, I think it's really amazing when you take a look at the investment that is down there and from your company and all sorts of others, and we look at how you go about making those investments and what kind of strategic planning goes into saying, all right, well, this is the next building that we're going to go after and we're going to develop for a specific use. Give us an idea of some of those conversations that happen behind the scenes about how you plot out your next steps.
Sure, a lot of it has to do with density and concentration, right? So we really think that we can, if we focus on certain geographic areas, and obviously we started off kind of Campus Martius to Grand Circus, and we wanted to create an area there that was very strong and vibrant. And so we identified all the key buildings there, have purchased a lot of them. A lot of other people have come in, now Capitol Park, Paradise Valley, and then the whole Woodward corridor is exploding. And so I think along that corridor is tremendous. And now we're getting into residential, so we kind of want to make sure that we're working on behalf of everybody in the city, and so we're doing some Brush Park and affordable housing in Brush Park and micro lofts, and so there's a lot of strategy, but there's some opportunistic kind of approach to it too. I mean, if building's available, we think it's something we can make good use out of, and we work hard to do that.
All right, I want to talk a little bit. I want to talk transportation. I
Sure.
do want to talk a little bit about the Q line and where we're headed there, and talking a little bit about regional transportation that everyone is talking about on the island right now, and the push for some kind of concerted effort in Southeast Michigan. How does the Q line fit into all of that?
Well, it's really a key component. When we started on the Q line, we wanted it to be a catalyst for economic development. I just mentioned there's billions of dollars taking place along that corridor. We wanted it to be a catalyst for regional transit. And then we just had a press conference on it, and we talked about how regional transit is an imperative for business success in our region. It's as simple as that. If we're not competitive, from a transit perspective, we won't be competitive from an economy standpoint. And what you see across the country is economic development follows those corridors of transit, and it's a social imperative. We have a huge percentage of our population that literally can't get to church, school, jobs, what have you. We have to fix it.
How do you sell people on that when they might not even use that transportation, but knowing that it's for the greater good?
Well, I mean, you sell it by you saying it's just part of a vibrant economy in a region. It's just, it really is as straightforward as that. And so they may or may not use it. Their kids almost certainly will use it. 73% of the kids interviewed by Cranes and Millennials said it was a #1 topic that they wanted to see addressed. Certainly that's the case with our Rock Ventures and Quicken Loans team members. But even if you're not going to use it and your kids aren't going to use it, I mean, somebody's going to use it to come to work at your place of business. Somebody's going to use it to get to a job to allow them to come buy something at your store. You might use it a lot more than you think if you have the opportunity to come down to a ball game or do something else with it. So it really is just it's a fundamental piece of infrastructure that we need to have, and ultimately is kind of the rising water floats all boats. I mean, I think people will see multiples of whatever investment that they make from a tax standpoint in the outcome.
I want to talk a little bit about retail, and we talked about a lot of businesses are locating downtown and filling a lot of the space that you have. How difficult still is it for retail to get a foothold in downtown Detroit?
Well, it's been really difficult, but it's changing. I mean, I think we're seeing more all the time, and it typically starts with restaurants, and you've seen the explosion of great restaurants. And then the retailers follow, and you see guys like Moose Jaw and Nike and John Varvatos and all of the great places in Midtown with Shinola and Carhartt and so on. There's always been kind of the debate. You need residential in order to have retail. You need retail in order to get the residential folks down. And I think what a lot of people have done is said, let's do it all together. Let's just do a big bang, create the density, create the kind of scale that's necessary, and I think the results are pretty clear, and we are just getting started. I mean, we Rock and others have timed our retail along Woodward for the completion of the Q line, and so when that's done, I think that the existing retailers and the new ones are really going to take off.